Okay, so now we'll look at chapter 3A, number 12. And in this one, I realized that the diagram you guys got, these letters down here don't show up very well. So I've rewritten these letters here so that you can tell what they are a little bit better. Okay. Um, and this problem, I think, is confusing the first time you see one like it, but after you've done a few, it's not too bad. So the first part is we're going to look at angles 1 and 4 and pretend that they're definitely equal. And if they are equal, then they may force a couple of lines to be parallel. So how do we get parallel lines? Well, let's think about that. So there are 5 ways of getting them. One is corresponding angles have to be congruent. So those would give us parallel lines. Another one, alternate interior angles that are congruent give us parallel lines. Next one, alternate exterior. So it's the same 5 that we've been using all the time, and this time I'm aiming for parallel lines, so that's why the parallel lines goes at the end. So we got the same side supplementary pairs as well, and then we've got the 5 main reasons. Okay, so let me highlight these. I'll shrink them down a little bit. Oh. There, shrink them down a little. Put them over here on the side for now. Okay. So, if I look at 1 and 4, and remember actually, before I jump into this, when you're looking at these types of angles, you're going to need 3 lines to actually have them. A lot of people guess 2, but if I only have the parallel lines, I have no angles. So you need the transversal as well in order to get these types of angles, the corresponding types, and so on. So, so really, the trick to this is figuring out which 3 lines do you need here. So if I'm looking at angle 1 and angle 4, right? Well, angle 1 is formed by this line and this line. And angle 4 is formed by the same K line here and line T as well. And so here's 1, and it's the same as 4. Now if I take this picture that I just drew, right here, and move it to the side, well, you can tell that these 2 angles are corresponding angles, and they're congruent. So I've got reason number 1 right here. And those 2 lines that I just took, the 2 lines that are parallel here, are U and T, right? So this one right here, A, I'm going to say U is parallel to T, and the reason is corresponding angles that are congruent give me parallel lines. Okay, now let's look at 6 and 4. Right, so 6 is formed by this line here, J, and this line here, T. And 4 is formed by T again, and this line, K. So here's 6, here's 4. Now if I take this and if I take this and I move it to the side, something's not working here. Let's try this one more time. If I take this and move it to the side, now you can tell alternate sides of the transversal and on the interior here. So I've got alternate interior angles that are the same. So right now I've got this reason, number 2. And if I move it back, to here, you can see that the 2 parallel lines are J and K. So in this case, I've got J is parallel to K, and the reason is alternate interior angles that are congruent give me parallel lines. Let me move this a little bit more. Let's put this over here. I'll zoom out just a little. There we go. Okay, so next thing that we've got here is 2 plus 3 equals 5. Okay, well here's 2, here's 3. And really when I say 2 plus 3 equals 5 over here, I'm going to actually combine 2 and 3 together. Equals this 5. So the lines, so think of 2 and 3 as one big angle. So the lines that form angle 2 plus 3 is this one here, U, and this one that's going across this way, K. And the lines that form 5 are K again, and T here. So let's take these, move them to the side, and now you can tell, okay, these two angles, they're both in the top right for each of their positions in their chunks here. So they're corresponding angles, and they're congruent. So I'm going to say U, because if I move this back, right, it's U and T. So U is parallel to T, because corresponding angles that are congruent give me parallel lines. Okay. Next one, 2 plus 3 plus 8 equals 180. Well, let's look at it this way. 2 plus 3 put together again. 2 plus 3 and 8 adds up to 180. So if I trace out the three lines that form those, 2 and 3 together, uses line K and line U. And angle 8 is formed by J and the same U. So now if I move these over, right, they're on the same side of the transversal and they're both interior angles. And so over here we've got same side interior angles. They should be supplementary. And if you come back to our problem, they are supplementary, right? They add up to 180. So here I can say, I'll put this back, it's J and K that are parallel. J is parallel to K because same side interior angles that are supplementary give me parallel lines. Okay. The next one, 1 is congruent to 7. Well, if you look at those, here's 1 formed by this line and 7 is formed by the same exact two lines, right? So actually, before I move it, let's mark these. Right, here's 1, here's 7. If I move this over, well, there are no parallel lines there. These are congruent because vertical angles are always the same. So this one's kind of a trick question. No lines are parallel because of this. None. Okay, let's look at the next one. And notice again here, with 1 and 7, you only use 2 lines. Again, in order to form these types of angles, you need 3. You need 3. Okay, next one is 5 and 6 are supplementary. So here's 5, here's 6. If I trace out those lines that form them, T and K form angle 5, and T and J form angle 6. If I move this to the side, they're same side interior, and they're supplementary. So it's reason 4 here again. So I've got J is parallel to K because same side interior angles that are supplementary give me parallel lines. And then we've got one more here. 4 and 5 also add up to 180. So if I look at 4 and 5, 4 is formed by T and K, and 5 is also formed by T and K. So if I move this over, notice it's just 2 lines, right? So, and there's nothing that even looks parallel there. So this one is also none. They add up to 180 just because they form a straight angle here, not because there's anything to do with parallel lines.